What's happening, y'all? Let's turn this down a little bit. Yeah. A little day off, so I decided just to make a little video, all right? For those of you who care to watch, enjoy with me, y'all. Just a little bit of a, again, shooting the shit. Prefacing everything with, this is truly and utterly just for entertainment purposes. I'm not a professional in the audio world at all, but I am a professional music enjoyer and creator. Right? I enjoy my own music. I like to create my own music, and I like to collect music that makes me enjoy listening, right? So, all that being said, I wanted to say, or more so ask, I have a few questions, and they might be rhetorical. That's fine. Most people won't answer. Most people can't answer, and if they do, that's cool too, but under no obligation. Let's turn this down a little further. And my question really is going to make the grounded individuals watching and listening smile and giggle, but it is going to trigger soft motherfuckers, okay? So people that don't have a grip on their own emotions and understandings, they're gonna get triggered here, because I'm gonna have some fun. All right. So question, right? Does this bother you? Bother you that I have some copper caps over my screws? Does it bother you? Does it bother you that I have granite under my speakers? Does it bother you that I have isoacoustics, right, under my speakers? Does it bother you that I keep some vinyl underneath my speakers? Does that bother you? Does it bother you that this power cable, okay? Oh, and this power cable, does it bother you that it costs $1,100 each? That bother you? Does it bother you that these speaker cables are $4,000? Does it bother you? Yeah? That trigger you a little bit? Does it bother you that I have $5,000 worth of cabling providing power to and from $800 amplifiers? Does that bother you? Does it bother you? Does it bother you that I have isolators underneath the spikes so that I don't damage my carpet? Does it bother you? Does it bother you that I have isolators underneath my amplifiers? Does it bother you that I have copper for right and silver, or metal, you know what I mean, for my left amplifier? Does that bother you? Does it bother you that I have a 180 gram as opposed to a 90 or 100 gram John Coltrane, Blue Train album? Does that bother you? Does this bother you? Tube buffer. Does it bother you that it's from China? Yeah? Triggers you a little bit, makes you feel a little uncomfortable. You just, makes you so upset. Does it bother you that I upgrade the tubes? All right. Does it bother you that these tubes cost more than the tube buffer that they're in? No. Does it bother you that I have a $500 power cable from PS Audio providing power to this tube buffer? Does it bother you that I use Musician Audio for a preamp? Does it bother you that doesn't have a lot of gain? All right. Does it bother you that I use Eversolo as opposed to Chord or PS Audio or Topping? Or, all right, bother you that I'm using a DAC to send digital signals from the Eversolo to the DAC to be processed and sent via Silver Litz formation XLR cables balanced to my preamp? Does that bother you? Does it bother you that I'm using AudioQuest Yukon XLR balanced cables from the preamp to my amplifiers? Right. I could go on and on. All right. Does it bother you that I use a bookshelf to store some of my records? Does it bother you that I have acoustic treatment in my room? Does it bother you that I take time to change out the faceplates of my isolated 20 amp outlets? If any of that bothers you, my friend, I'm here to tell you that the problem isn't me, and it's not how I spend my money. The problem is you, my friend. Okay? You need to get a grip and not let things that other people do with their time and money bother you. Does this three-legged chair bother you? Yeah, if it does, right? Oh, you know what? Where is he? Oh, there he is. Does this spider, this one spider, bother you? Let's get in close. I haven't named him, all right? But what I do is allow him to exist, just one, in my room to keep things clean, somewhat, from bugs. Not too many, just him, you know what I mean? Bother you that I can play the drums? Does it bother you that I'm a photographer? Does it bother you that I have acoustic photo treatment on my opposite wall? Probably bothers a lot of people that I collect colognes. I like to smell good. Bothers. Why do you want to smell good? Bother you that I got 4 Jean Paul Gaultiers? All right. Yeah. How about some George off? Bother you? Armoire? Why does he have like Reflection 45? And then he has Reflection Man. Why would he do that? My rant is really just to poke fun at people that take things way too seriously and have not figured out the enjoyment of curating a sound system for themselves in a way that is comfortable and enjoyable to themselves. Your music collection, right? How you listen to it. Is it going to be vinyl, right? Or digital, right? I'd like to say that I fully enjoy both versions. And I'll tell you why. I like vinyl for the tactility of it. Okay? I like to thumb through, some records, right? And see what I got. You can organize them. But the fun part is, it's touching them, right? You can equate it to looking at photos or videos of a car online, a nice one, right? Or having the car or a car and, washing it, drying it, putting on paint protection, waxing it, buffing it, taking it out for a cruise, right? Just to go get some ice cream or to go to work. It doesn't matter. The point being, you took that time to feel and clean and enjoy your ride whatever it is, right? Vinyl is something similar to that for me, right? It's like opening a bottle of wine. It's like cooking a nice meal, right? You get to touch all the components. You get to go through and pick and choose why and what you're feeling. Also, it kind of dedicates you to the time of that album. You don't swap tracks quickly on vinyl, right? For me, anyways, I'll front to back them, or at the very least, front them or back them. So I'll listen to one side at the very least. If I put a vinyl on, I'm listening to the whole side. So it slows you down a little bit in your listening experience. And that's lovely, right? Another thing that I like about vinyl is that, in my opinion, it takes a little bit more experience, I think, to have vinyl sound amazing. It can sound good. I think that with the technology we have right now, you can go out and buy cheap or cost-effective, whatever that means for you, right? That's a whole can of worms on its own. But yeah, you can buy a turntable from Best Buy, right? Whatever cartridge that comes with. Get yourself a phono stage or an all-in-one integrated amp, and you can play vinyl, and it's probably going to sound really good. Whatever speakers you choose, your room. Point being, vinyl is kind of like, it gives you the option to do small upgrades and to have real updates in music fidelity and sonic fidelity. So, I mean, I guess, you can say the same for digital, but vinyl, it truly is a physical medium, right? So you literally have a needle that is going to fall down and rest in a groove and then create vibrations, which is, the rendition of the music that we're hearing. I like that. I like the fact that, you can make a physical change and it has a physical and audible difference or sonic difference in what you're hearing and how you're experiencing the music. All these little tweaks, and in some cases, not tweaks, just good deals. And hearing some people getting so upset that those exist. Upset. Yeah, the problem isn't me, my man. Most likely, man. It's not me. All right? It's you. All right? When my shit's bothering you, yeah, that problem's you. Because in no way does this come into your home and force you to do anything, force you to believe anything, force you to hear anything or listen anyway. You need to find the help you need, find the peace and happiness that I'm able to find on my own shit, on my own time, and incorporate that into your life. All right? Stop letting things bother you that don't matter. All right? None of this matters. Transitioning from that, my little rant, I wanted to go through a couple of albums that I've picked up recently that I've been enjoying. And let's just actually, no, this is going to stay here. We're just going to move this out of the way here, off to the side. A lot of new albums that I've picked up recently. Got some Miles Davis meets Thelonious Monk. Very nice. 180 grams. I personally don't believe that the weight makes any sonic difference. If it's a good recording, it's a good recording. If the record is clean itself, it's clean. I think the difference that a 180 gram record makes is more so the resistance to warping. It's just thicker, it's more material, and heavier, so a little bit more resistant to vibration, right? And a needle truly is quite susceptible to vibration, and it's a very susceptible signal to. Even if I bring my phone close to this or close to the preamp, to the phono preamp, you can hear a buzzing. It's very susceptible to RFI and EMI, interference. So that's fair. And again, having a heavier album, or even just having a proper weight, can make a big difference sonically. Less vibration, more articulation from whatever needle you're using. Moving on. So went on a little Miles Davis collecting spree. Many of you might already have these, or at least listen to them. At least listen to them, even digitally. What I will do sometimes is, the reason I like digital is because, it sounds amazing, absolutely clean, zero surface noise. But it's very cool to be able to go through and listen to albums, and then if you feel, you can purchase them on vinyl if you want that tactile feel, and if you've taken the time to build your fidelity, right? To build your system to high fidelity. A whole other box or can of worms that you can, discuss is, how much to spend on making a system high fidelity. I think if it sounds good, it sounds good, regardless of cost. I think that's where, my opinion will stop, because funds are a thing for people, how much you're able to make and how much you're able to spend on a hobby and whatnot. Hold on. Let's go find another song here. Hold on. Oh, these are just some recordings that I have made over the years. having a little fun in life. Let's pause that. All right. Let's see. Soulful Escape. Let's do that. Yeah, it's a little song I worked on, 15, 20 years ago. Fun. But anyways, so some Miles Davis albums sounded great. But more recently, I was able to pick up, where is it? Let's go right to the back. Some Sonny Rollins. This right here. Most recently, actually, I was watching a the Audiophiliac, Steve Guttenberg, that's him. And he was mentioning this album. I hadn't heard it before. It's Sonny Rollins, The Bridge. But the recording of this is from 1962. And the recording, wow. The sound engineer took time to mic each instrument really, really well. I do find that, going back to the 50s and 60s, even if recordings were good, using the equipment that they had at the time, the idea of stereo was a thing. And they would literally record stereo. So they would have hard piano, hard drums on this side, hard bass, hard saxophone on this side. And there was not too much here in the middle. And that's fine once you understand. But, it was a newer concept. It's almost like, AI right now versus AI in 20 years, right? Or 50 years, So I get, why it sounds like that. But what I do appreciate is a good recording, so good mics on those pianos, drums, flute, whatever it is, good mics on it makes a big difference. One of the things that I had fallen into when I was, earlier on in my journey with vinyl specifically, or actually no, all albums, because it kind of translates, but the recording, I kind of would listen to newer recordings and hear sound fields and soundscapes, sound stages, depth, and I would hear those and then want to hear those in the 1957 recording of, Chet Baker, you know what I mean? Miles Davis, whatever. And the depth or soundstage is not the same because the equipment wasn't the same. It evolved over time and it sounds different. Some might say it sounds better. I think what pulls me in is the best that they could do for the time and equipment available at that time. And it's kind of like building your own sound system, just to bring it all back, right? the best that you and I can do with the funds that we have, the time, the space, right? That we can do, the best we can do to make it sound good for yourself, right? And what are you able to accomplish with that? And also, where are you willing to go? All right. What are your limits? Do you have limits? Do you buy once and then you're done for the rest of your life? You buy one set of speakers, one set of amps, or one amp, never change it out? For me, it's a journey, right? An enjoyable journey. I watch reviews, I listen, but I take all those things with a massive grain of salt. What's their power source? What kind of cables are they using? What's their hearing? There's no test for these reviewers' hearing. We have nothing to, validate their opinion of something that they're hearing. We don't know. And then how does their hearing relate to our hearing? There's so many X factors. I take the reviews as a grain of salt, a starting point for my research on what I want to incorporate into my system and how I feel it's going to affect it, if at all. Listen. Many people that consider themselves audiophiles are doing it wrong. Right? There's a lot of, preconceived ideas of how things should be, and they're just overlooking the fact of the raw enjoyment of music, the idea of collecting, how and why you want to listen to certain formats, what that means to you, and it's so multifaceted. It's so varied, in how you're allowed, how you want to enjoy music. You don't have to be allowed to do anything. That's the thing about it, right? I want to isolate my speakers. I want to spend big bucks on cables. I want to spend big bucks on my front end or my amplifiers or just speakers or everything. I have that budget. It's up to you. Dude, just fucking enjoy it. I'm not here. I can't tell you how it sounds in your room. I'm never going to be there. You guys are never going to be in my room. If you do come to my room, and I come downstairs and I find you there might be a little bit of a problem. Some things to be discussed. But aside from that, enjoy what you got, what you've built. It might be a journey for you, or it might be an end game. That's fine. Let it be. Collect music, listen, explore. Another reason I love the digital end is it's very, very easy to explore new music, right? Yeah, guys. It's a crazy world out there. Make sure you find your happiness. You know what I mean? Make sure you are able to enjoy what you want to enjoy, right? Before things get too crazy, either for yourself or for the world.